Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ask Me Anything. I'm spiritual medium, psychotherapist, and author Kellee White. And today is August 13th, 2026. And I have such an exciting guest. I'm so thrilled that she's going to be here. But before we get with our special guest that I'm going to talk about, I want to mention a few things. That eclipse was something yesterday, right? I'm curious about how everybody, what their feelings were yesterday during this eclipse, because we have an upcoming eclipse. So we are in eclipse season this next couple of weeks, still a little chaotic, can be dramatic, lots of healing, lots of transformation, and lots of change coming up. And so the next one will be August 26th. And this one will be a full moon lunar eclipse. And in Vedic astrology, it's in Aquarius, and it's in the nakshatra called Shatabhishek. And this is all about healing. Interesting enough, our guest tonight, which is Amy Mercree, she is an incredible medical intuitive and healer and is offering a course on becoming a medical intuitive and healer. So you're really going to want to watch tonight because she is incredible. So before we even start, I want to say hi to a few people here, and then I'm going to talk to you all about the guests that we have. So let me just say hi, Toby. Yes, last week I did talk about the 2 tornadoes that had hit our house, my grandchildren. And it was very fun. It was so fun. And I was really sad when they left and exhausted. 2 things can be true at the same time. Hi, Melissa. And hi, Renee. She says, blessings. I'm fascinated with your topic tonight. Oh, Renee, you're going to love this. And Melissa, you also will love this atomic healing that we're going to be talking about because it's really amazing. Hi, Sweet Cherry Wine. Yes, this is going to be a fascinating topic. Okay, Marilyn Wiederman. Hi, Marilyn. So you actually, from what I understand from Amy, took the atomic healing class, and you learned about Amy from when she was on our show with James in March of 2025. It was a great show. So I'm so excited that she's going to be on tonight. And Marilyn, a special shout out for you, honey. Oh, I think I'm going to see you on Saturday too. So I'm really excited. And for everybody on Saturday, my Power of 10 did sell out. So it's just I'll do another one. I'll plan another one in the next few months here. Hi, Sasha. I find it interesting. He says, between the beautiful balance between magic, science, and spirit, a glorious renaissance of the heart space. Oh, keep being awesome. You too, Sasha. Absolutely. Hey, Stacy. Hi, Sarah Stone. Hi, children of School of Yoga. Namaste. Hi, Sonia. Oh my gosh. Hi, Laura. So could we make moon water and put our crystals out on August 27th for the eclipse on the 28th? I don't know. I have to think about that. It's about healing. So I think you probably could, Laura. I think so. It's a good question. But again, next Thursday, we'll talk a lot about this. Hi, Michelle Kavanaugh, Snowy Owl. If you get a chance, Snowy Owl Intuitive Services, go check her website out and go check her out every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. She does either a meditation, and I think she's doing a meditation this Sunday. So, and she's amazing, Michelle. Check her out, Snowy Owl Intuitive Services. Hey, Christy. Oh my gosh. Well, everybody, let me talk a little bit about what we're going to be talking about tonight, because our topic is really wonderful. And this is where science and spirit and intuition meet. So I have a really special guest tonight, and her name is Amy Mercree. And Amy created this incredible body of work. I mean, you guys will be blown away. If you don't know who she is, you need to know. Her work brings together spirituality, which, of course, we love here, intuition, energy, the human body, and sometimes I have never explored quite like this before, the periodic table of elements. Now, this is going to be fascinating, I think, totally fascinating for people. And we're going to talk about her new Hay House Oracle deck, because, I love the Oracle decks. And it's called the Atomic Element Healing Oracle. We're also going to talk about her work as a medical intuitive, spirit guides, one of my favorites, ancestral and karmic healing, and the atomic healing method, because she's beginning, and she'll talk about this, opening up a class. It'll be her 4th time of teaching this class. I think it's a 9-month class, and she'll talk to us about it, about becoming a medical intuitive. So, and later in the show, Amy is going to stay with us while we answer your questions. But before we do, I want to officially introduce our guest here. And Amy Lee Mercree is the best-selling author of 19 books, journals, and card decks. I mean, talk about achieving a lot. And she's young. She's done a lot here. She's the creator of Atomic Healing, which is she's a holistic health expert. She's a media personality, and she's an internationally known medical intuitive with more than 2 decades of experience here. So Amy teaches internationally through programs which include the Atomic Goddess Collective. Doesn't that sound interesting? Spirit Writing with the Grandmothers of the 7 Directions. Well, you got my attention. And the Atomic Healing Method, Medical Intuitive Certification. I don't know anybody else that does this. Her newest project is the Hay House deck, which is the Atomic Element Healing Oracle, a 44 card deck and guidebook. And what fascinated me when I first heard about Amy's work was this connection that she makes between something that many of us learned about in science class, the elements of the periodic table, which now includes spirituality, consciousness, intuition, energy, and healing. Amy's also been featured in Glamour Magazine, Women's Health, Forbes, Oprah Daily, Reader's Digest, Shape, Well Plus Good, CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, and many others. So Amy, welcome to Ask Me Anything. I'm so glad to have you here today with us.
Hi, Kellee. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. That was so fun to hear.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have you here. This is so exciting for me because James and I did have you on the show, I don't know, over a year and a half ago. And we both were just amazed with you and your work. And so I'd like to talk about, how did your work begin? How did this whole thing begin? How did you decide to create a project, involving the periodic table of elements?
It's a fun question, and it goes all the way back to childhood for me.
Wow.
So I was always kind of a science kid and kind of a, fascinated with all that. And for many years as a child, we would play in the yard, and I would see these nature sparkles, and I would call them the tiny universe. Wow. And so I would try to understand what the tiny universe was, what it was doing, why it would respond to the way we move the dirt and the water. We did a lot of digging in my yard, my little brother and I, and why it would, cluster around the trees and things like that. And then in school, we did a unit called Matter, Matter Everywhere about basic chemistry. And it was like, mind exploding. So fast forward all these years, and I end up apprenticing with my late medicine teacher, learning a shamanic tradition that was an oral tradition passed down from teacher to student for many years, learning Reiki, teaching shamanism. And very soon into that process, the same time I started giving readings, talking to people's spirit guides, some guides showed up. Knock, knock, knock. Yeah. And I was painting in an altered state, and I began to paint at first elements of the periodic table, and they were coming to me as living beings. Wow. So that started a 6-year journey where I channeled a complete system of healing that ended up 25 years later becoming the Atomic Element Healing Oracle.
And that's your new deck?
That's my new deck.
Wow.
So I channeled that, and I was, it took me 6 years. It was art. First I painted it, and then I ended up creating cards using Prismacolor colored pencils. So doing art for all of the cards. And there were some other things in there too. And I wrote an 111,000 word book about it.
Wow.
Because it was a complete system.
Was it intuitive, or did it just,
100% channeled?
Wow.
And I was always a science person, like I said. I mean, I was fascinated with this stuff. I was kind of a nerdy kid. I was a member of the astronomy book club. I was a subscriber to Astronomy magazine back when we had magazines as a child. So I was into all that, but it came through this fully channeled thing, and it took 6 years. Those of us who are old enough to remember cassette tapes, we had CDs at the time, but I had a cassette recorder. So at first I used to record it. Like I'd be at the beach touching elements, recording. And then I was like, I'm going to have to type this. Eventually I kind of like wised up and I was like, I'll type this. But so I channeled all the elements and I learned from them as living beings. And then I said, okay, so this is a card deck. This was back when The Secret was out. All the decks were like Doreen Virtue and stuff like that. Only Hay House and US Game Systems were making decks at the time. So I was like, I was shown this deck will be published by Hay House. It'll be all over the world in the UK, Australia, and India. So I saw these locations. So then I was like, how does one do this? I discovered, some of you guys will remember Debbie Ford, sister of Ariel Ford, who had so many wonderful products. And I loved her work at the time.
It was a very good friend of James.
I didn't know her personally. I was a youngin' at the time. I went to one of her events. Like I saved up and went to her event in Orange County. And I was like, how does one do this? It took me another 6 years to get a literary agent. And then we shopped the deck, and Hay House, totally different staff way back then, said, this is really interesting, but we don't do decks for first-time authors. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to write a book. So then I wrote a book about the healing powers of whales and dolphins. Nobody bought it. So then I wrote a book that ended up becoming The Spiritual Girl's Guide to Dating, my first book.
The Spiritual Guide, The Girl's Guide to Dating?
Yeah.
Well, that was my first dolphin book. I mean, you're definitely from the Pleiades. I mean, you're not around here.
In the process of channeling what became the Atomic Element Healing Oracle, part of the transmissions came from the higher selves of humpback whales that I swam with in the wild.
Wow.
So, I've always been a whale dolphin person. But so they didn't buy it. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just have to publish more books and maybe I can get like enough pull in the industry where someone will publish my weird deck. So fast forward 17 books, decks, and journals later, then my agent, same agent I've had the whole time, Lisa, who's like a phenomenally wonderful person. I think, Kelly, you know her.
Yeah,
Lisa pitched the deck because they were looking for decks and they bought it. And I also pitched Aura Alchemy, my book, and they bought that too.
Book. Wow.
Thank you.
You just never gave up.
I never gave up, but there were times when I said, well, maybe that was just leading me to have this great career because, now I'd written, I'd written 17
books.
17
books is prolific.
Yeah. And I'll keep writing books. I love writing books. Anytime anybody wants to pay me to write something, I'm going to write it because I'm like, I love to write books. Wow. So there were times when I thought, well, maybe it was just that, but I also, was doing this like intensive, basically 25-year continuing even now internship with this set of guides who then through this process, I created Atomic Healing and the Atomic Healing Method, which is what I do as a medical intuitive. And now I get to teach people. So I think it was all, as everything is, it was in divine timing, even though, I certainly didn't think that it was going to be 25 years to see this out. And the fun part is it was published by Hay House, as my guide said, and they showed UK, Australia, and India, which is where Hay House has their offices.
Wow.
And that's where they had their offices.
That's amazing. Wow, because you were given the information. It's funny how we operate. Yes. Often many people will say, but I want it now. How come
don't we all?
Yeah, that's just not how it works. It works, they'll give you a piece of it, and then you just keep going on this journey. So talk to us about atomic healing. What is that?
So atomic healing is an amalgam of different methods that I've put together, and a lot of it is channeled. So it is a bit of Taoism, a lot of periodic table, particle physics, quantum mechanics kind of stuff, and then lots of shamanic things, including proprietary channel processes about how I work in the systems of the body, on all kinds of levels, organs, organ meridians, subatomic levels, cell walls, the genome, and everything in between, including ancestral healing, karmic healing, and much more. So
if somebody were sick, they could come to you?
Yeah.
What kind of things do you work with this?
I work with everything, and I always like to point out that I'm not a doctor, and everything I do is for informational purposes only. So it doesn't replace your health practitioner. However, people do come to me to unearth root causes of mild, moderate, and severe things that are happening, as well as life situations. And the things that come up are very interesting. A fun example is a gentleman came in a few years ago, and he had some health issues, and that was all he was coming in for. So I went in, and, my job really is to talk to spirit guides. That's all I do. A lot of times they're angels, goddesses, ancestors. Sometimes they're deceased relatives, like dead people too, anything. And whoever wants to talk.
Whoever gives you the messages.
Whoever shows up with the info. Whoever's got something to do with it. So this gentleman showed up, and he had these ailments. And so I said, we're looking, and it was like 13 generations back. You had this ancestor, and this was a gentleman who fell in love with a woman who was married. It was obviously a time back in antiquity, so that was even more frowned upon. But they were really soulmates, and they were really in love. And she loved him too. And so she actually left the husband that she had to be with this guy. And the husband was, obviously like noticeably offended, and he hurt the other guy, beat him up, did something violent to him. The two star-crossed lovers were still together and went on to procreate. And so this gentleman was the ancestor of it. And what I saw was that in the genome, that ancestor had felt that he deserved it, that he did something wrong. And so it actually encoded into the DNA, and it caused this gentleman's mild to moderate health issue. And the guy said, "That is my actual life right now."
Oh my God.
He repeated the pattern. He was in love with a married woman who is leaving her husband. He felt he deserved it. And it was about, listen, love is love, and, things happen, and you can't literally accept, essentially the energy of a curse is basically.
So let me ask you this. It's a fascinating story from every level here.
Yeah.
Because I work with so many love cross situations.
Yes.
My whole life I've been working with that, it seems.
Yes.
So my question is, do you think that this fellow that you're working with was that man 13?
It was his ancestor at minimum. Was it also?
Could it have been him?
It could have been a past life.
Yeah.
In that case, I don't actually think it was, but I have seen instances where we do incarnate throughout the same family line multiple times.
Too. But also,
I've even
family genetics carries this. I mean,
either way,
his work is this family constellation therapy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's exactly.
Wow.
So in the case of that gentleman, what we did was work with the emotional, mental, work with the gene, change the genome on a subatomic level. And I also have a proprietary channel process I use from the goddess Athena that I received in 2008 to unravel the energy of curses or curse-like energy that people have, whether in the genome, which people learn in the atomic healing method certification I teach.
Because it's a funny thing with curses. People ask me all the time if I believe them or not, and I really don't. I believe that they're belief systems that somehow get stuck.
Yes. I think
you're open to that. If you're open to the idea that somebody could do that, then guess what? Here we go.
Yes. I think that they only have anything like that, whether people call it psychic attack, curses.
Yeah, exactly.
It only affects you if you let it in. So that's why if someone, especially in most of these cases, the person thought they deserved it. In that case of that ancestor, this guy felt guilty because he felt bad. He knew he was causing strife to this other man, even though he fell in love with his wife. He thought he deserved it. That's why he accepted it into the genome. And then his descendant manifested an exactly similar situation and had a health ailment that was related to where
what
that
was the health ailment? I'd love to know.
I have been trying to remember because I talked to thousands of people.
I bet. Probably stomach issues, I'm guessing.
It was something like common and not terrible, but annoying.
Yeah.
And that was why he came in, because it was one of, I of course get the things that like don't get easy results from traditional medical, tinnitus and things like that. It wasn't tinnitus, but it was probably like IBS or something.
That's what I was thinking when you said
direction.
That.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so fascinating. So do you still see people in individual sessions?
I do. A lot of times I'm booked out a lot of months. If people ever want sessions, you can go on my website under sessions, and it pulls up the calendar where you can book. I think we're booking maybe into the end of September right now, which sometimes we're booking out like 10 months. Sometimes I have less sessions available because I'm having a book launch or I'm on a book deadline. Right now, I do have a launch in November, but I didn't take off a ton of time, so we're not quite as backed up. There are times when it's 10 plus months.
Well, and so now, tell us about your upcoming class with this, and then I want to talk about the deck, because I think people will be so interested in taking this course.
I would love it, and that's what I was going to say. Is now people can see Atomic Healing Method certified practitioners.
Wow.
I'm teaching the 4th year of this certification course, which prior to that was only available to private apprentices, which I did have, over the years. I've been a medical intuitive for 25 years. I was also trained in an extensive body of work by my late medicine teacher. So I teach that. That's, the very beginner element of that is the Grandmothers of the 7 Directions course that you mentioned in my bio.
Wow.
And there's lots more to that too. But now I'm teaching our group classes, which are 100% live taught, 9 months. It's an immersive certification. It's always fun too, because it's groups of soul family that end up coming together. And you have a few partners during it too, because you practice on each other. So there's a lot of lifelong friendships that come out of it. Plus you get completely trained to do what I do. I teach live, you have, access to me, and we all work together. I love it. It's like, it's my dharma, it's part of my dharma.
Isn't that the best when you get to work with your dharma?
We're blessed. I'm sure it's the same for you. We are incredibly fortunate to have, careers, lives we love, get to be so blessed to do this work that's so gratifying and fulfilling, which is part of why I started the certification.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing this. And the interesting thing is we have this eclipse, the next eclipse in Vedic astrology. It's in Aquarius, but it's in this powerful nakshatra called Shatabhishak, which the theme is healing. And listen to this. It's near the royal fixed star Formahalt, which I don't think I'm going to say that correctly. But that's one of the 4 ancient royal stars in astrology. And it's linked to Archangel Gabriel, and it's all about spiritual awakening, spiritual vision, philosophy, and healing.
Wow.
It's a really important, and it also deals with forefathers from our past. So this is going to be a fascinating time.
When is it, Kellee?
It's the 28th, August 28th.
Oh, it's soon.
It's really soon. And so eclipses bring us to a new road. And if anybody out there that is really always wanted to work in the healing, your class sounds extraordinary to take during this time. Because when does your class begin?
October 27th.
Okay.
And it's 9 months. We do obviously all the medical intuitive stuff. You learn to talk to your own spirit guides, you shamanic journey, you automatic write, you work with your partner, you give each other readings. I take you through everything. We also at the end do a little bit of like prep in terms of if you are taking this out as a business too, and like letting in, abundance and prosperity and stuff too. It's mostly training in the healing, but then of course I want, you to be successful. Some people take it for themselves or just choose with friends and family. Some people take it because they're already massage therapists, craniosacral, acupuncturists, veterinarians. They use it in healing arts. And some people take it because they want a totally new career too.
Wow. And tell me how you got associated with spirit guides, because I know how that happened with me. How did this begin with you?
I've been talking to spirit guides since I was a kid. So it was very natural for me when I started to work with clients at age 23. So it's been 25 years.
Wow.
And, I met my late medicine teacher when I was 18 while I was also going to college for education. So I had her in my life until 2019 too. So I was very blessed to have a wonderful teacher, a great foundation, a mentor, someone to work with me in that way. But I've always talked to guides, and I didn't always know what it was. But so when I was 18, I took Reiki and I was doing yoga and stuff while I was in college, and I was nannying for a family that had 5 kids. Some were at school, some were napping. I was 18. I didn't want to do their laundry or anything. And they didn't have TV, but they had an extensive, amazing library. And I found the book Jaguar Woman by Lynn Andrews.
Wow.
And it changed my life because it was Lynn Andrews in the Yucatan Peninsula practicing shamanic work. And I was like, I do that. Like I was already shamanically journeying since I was a young child. Wow. So I took a workshop of the Foundation for Shamanic Studies, very easy. I had a really neat experience too that was incredibly synchronistic, just to make sure to be like, this is the thing. Right. And at that workshop, the woman who I partnered with said, you need to work on past life stuff. I know a woman in my town. Her name's Lori. Here's her phone number. She became my medicine teacher.
Wow.
At 18. So I was very blessed. It was meant to be. But I've talked to spirit guides my whole life. I was one of those people who came in totally open. And so my journey has been grounding, sealing, learning how to, be in the world and have results and just like not be totally.
So then now I have to ask the question, when you teach this upcoming class,
yes,
when you're working with people in this class,
yes,
what if their traumas come up?
It does, because it's a big root cause of our healing. So we work with that in lots of ways. We work on removing the ancestral frequencies, the kind of genealogical memory that probably like attracting like. So I don't know, 9 times out of 10 back in the genome, there's more. Humanity has had a very rough and tumble history. We all have stuff. What gets, highlighted by our life experience, I think has to do with our various soul contracts and stuff.
Absolutely.
We also go into the blueprint, the life blueprint at times, and we change things and we up-level things. And then I always recommend, I have a lot of tools that I love for clearing trauma. One of the best, EMDR is very useful. I think the best tool for clearing the somatic imprint of trauma in the body is neurofeedback. So I hook, everybody up with those things as needed. And also in the certification, you learn all those levers to pull. Like, here's what I would do if this comes up with these people. And you get, your 24 live classes and your study groups. You have some required reading. It's very fun. We call all the homework as home play. It's not a lot, but you also get 40, 50 PDFs of different resources. So you have those. If you're like, I need to use this, or I need to use this, or I have these resources, for example, of flammable botanicals, which are things you can use to smoke cleanse or in the home as well. Because I also have a book called The Healing Home, which is Feng Shui, Vastu, and shamanic practices for the home. So you get all these resources, and people are like, I didn't know I could burn mint. I didn't know I could burn rosemary. You can burn all of it, and you can use it for different things. And then you get I don't teach all of the acupuncture meridians because it would take too long, but you get all these resources. So you get to see, okay, these are the levers I can pull, including you have an experiential sense. We do intensive ancestral healing, intensive karmic healing in the container of the course. And then I also teach, you guys just did this. And also, if somebody comes to you with this, these are the levers to pull. And then they're practicing for the whole 9 months. So things will come up and they have me right there. A lot of times they practice in class and I'm in the metaphorical Zoom room with them. This is what you do. Look at this, stuff like that. So
lots of tools and lots of support.
Tons.
Yeah.
And every year we add more. So there's so many.
Because especially as the world is evolving, I would think more tools will just start coming in. Your guides will give you even higher tools to work with.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Wow.
And I channel new things all the time.
I bet you do. Well,
Yeah.
and tell me, do you sleep?
I sleep a lot. I need to sleep a lot. I have to sleep a lot.
Yeah. That's how we recharge ourselves for sure.
I have to. And the gift of ADHD is I can hyper focus. So like my book Aura Alchemy is a 64,000 word book. It's 1/3 quantum mechanics, 1/3 shamanic practices, and 1/3 manifesting using quantum mechanics. Wow. Channel proprietary. I wrote that book in 6 weeks. That is the power of ADHD hyper.
Oh, I agree. It's a superpower. I have that myself, and it's a superpower.
Yeah,
perfectly. Well, tell me about the cards now, and maybe pull some cards for people.
Let's pull some cards.
Hey, because I think
so every card is an element of the periodic table.
Okay.
So every element is a being. So we'll use oxygen because I saw Laurel mentioned oxygen. Hi, Laurel. And hi to Marilyn. I see some familiar names in there. So all of the oxygen in the universe is part of the being oxygen's body. Okay. That being is also incarnated in that case as the Welsh goddess Rhiannon.
Whoa.
And the keynote of oxygen is evolution. So it's effervescently evolutionizing our experience. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, what element wants to talk to us today? We just never know. Okay. We have, boron, fractals. So boron is the 5th element in the periodic table. It was born very soon after the Big Bang. This being boron, so all of the boron in the universe is part of the being boron's body. This being is also incarnated as the angel Itkal, Itkal. Boron is present in bones, teeth, and all kinds of different things. And its keynote is actually fractals. So this boron essence comes in and it gives all of the boron in our body its highest vibrational frequency that it can hold. And then it brings in this element of fractals. And fractals are endlessly repeating patterns. So when we think about patterns in nature that keep repeating, like when we see like an image of a fiddlehead fern and it spins and spins and spins, that's a fractal. Repeating patterns in nature. We see those in different botanical locations, in snowflakes. Like you can see, these repeating patterns in snowflakes, which are formed by ice crystals. So fractals occur in nature, and then in the case of boron, it downloads this essence of spirit fractals. And so it brings an upgrade to all of that in our body. And in this case, it's very celestial, which of course, this is what comes out for your audience.
Wow. That is just extraordinary. Oh my gosh.
It's fun too.
I bet. I mean, this is so fascinating for people to hear. People are loving your stories. I mean, this is amazing. Oh my God. Wow. Let me just see here. So it's wonderful here to have you here. Everybody is saying that. Let's see. Oh my God.
Do you sleep? Kellee said you're funny. You are funny.
Oh my God. Michelle Kavanaugh said, I just bought the deck.
Yay! Yay, Michelle. I'm so excited. I hope you love it.
Gosh.
Yay.
Could we do an individual card for somebody?
Sure.
Let's do one.
Let's do it.
Debbie Jones Griffin, because she's gone through an awful
Debbie
lot.
Jones.
Debbie,
let's get you a card.
Extra help.
Let's do it.
I love to do cards on this show. People love it.
I love cards.
Wow.
I love cards. I like to take like 5+ decks and do what I call a card juge and lay them out in all rows and then love life, career, this project, and then reveal them all at the end.
So fun.
Doesn't that sound fun?
Yes.
What does Debbie need today? Sodium, tenderness. And I'm going to read this for you first. So I'm going to hold this back up, but this matches my background today too.
It is true. Tenderness here.
Mm-hmm. So sodium, tenderness. Sodium's atomic symbol is Na, And it is number 11 on the periodic table, which means it has 11 protons and 11 electrons in its pure form. I'll also point out that it's an electrolyte. It's very present in our bodies. So let's read about it, but I'm going to maybe talk about it more. I might have said these things in here. I have to recall. Let's find out. Okay. You've chosen this card to learn to accept tenderness. Sodium transfers messages, impulses, electricity, and energy throughout your body with care. Sodium envelops all receptors, transmitters, and pathways in your body with gentleness. Sodium teaches you how to be gentle with yourself. Sodium tunes up your electrical system and improves your health, cognitive ability, and coordination. When you sleep, she will be there to sprinkle you with loving kindness. All of the sodium in the universe is part of the being Sodium's body. This being is also incarnated as the West African goddess Nana Baluku, creator of the cosmos. She embodies the active energy of both the highest masculine that focuses our planetary existence and the sacred receptive feminine, imparting life to all. Vibrational healing. You are being prompted to treat yourself gently and make decisions that serve your highest purpose and health. Embody gentleness and tenderness toward yourself and others. Your life as a human may not have been so gentle and tender. You may wonder why. Part of you wishes someone would give you some magic answer and you'd believe it. But the direct way for you to experience the truth is buried inside of you, underneath centuries of metaphorical old biological paperwork. To experience the truth of why you exist, lavish yourself like a treasured lover. Give yourself the ultimate pleasures. Gently love your totality. Use warmth and devotion for yourself to find inner security and emotional safety. Bring the cosmic into your physicality by gently clearing away that figurative old biological paperwork, using good feeling thoughts and creating space for your universal nature to shine through. Loving yourself clears away and releases anything that blocks your complete access to your own highest self.
Wow.
The nutritional healing properties of sodium are nervous system health, electrolyte balance, and metabolism. Dietary sources include seaweed, seafood, celery, beets, unprocessed raw salt.
Wow.
And then the affirmation is, I embody tenderness. I deserve gentle touch and care.
Wow. Well, that really fits, Debbie.
Good for everybody. Yes, Laurel says great for many of us. Yes.
It really is. You know, I'm wondering, can we have a card for the group? Because I have so many people asking for cards. Let's do one for this group now.
For this group now.
For this group now, because there's so many that want a card.
I know.
You know, and I mean, and that, before you even go there, or as you're doing that, let me ask you this. I know you've worked as a medical intuitive for like 25 years. My question is, what type of person should take this class? You know,
that's a great question. And I think if you are a seeker, if you want to know yourself, heal yourself, know your guides, it jumped out. I think this is the one.
Okay, and this is for our group.
This is for our group. But if you want to know your spirit guides, I mean, that's my specialty. That's what I've done for 25 years, is teach people to talk to their guides. And if you care, I mean, I think that's the other thing. Heal yourself. And then if you care about others, even if you don't end up formally practicing, you understand, you know, you get this greater understanding.
Absolutely. When I went back to grad school, and it was very important for me, because then I could really deeply understand. And sometimes people will come to me, and the traumas have been so great.
I know.
I will say, you know what? Why don't you go back to grad school? Because it learn and really start to feel for themselves. And in this case, it's very similar thinking.
Yeah. And you get, you know, in this course, everything you learn to do that I do, which is, you know, I'm going to teach 4 levels of this ultimately, but the whole level 1, so 25% of what I do at minimum, if not more, you're going to experience because you practice it. So it is healing. It can't not be.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So
Everybody.
we got sulfur primordial stirring, and it's so interesting because I think of these two as like companions,
Yeah.
because they're kind of similar. So
Wow.
this is
I
what
was
we need to
thinking
talk.
when you did the card for Debbie, I was actually thinking there's so many in this group that could work with.
Everyone would need this.
Everybody
Yes,
would
we
need
all
some-
need it, honestly.
Truly.
So sulfur primordial stirring. This is a fun card because this was one of the earlier cards I channeled, and a lot of the text is the same as the original book too.
Wow.
Because it, you have to condense it and things like that. But when I read this to you, in my mind, I will be like, that was in the original book. That was like most of it was, which is kind of fun. So let's hear about it. So sulfur's essence is primordial stirring. Its atomic symbol is S. Its atomic number is 16. That means it has 16 protons and 16 electrons in its pure state. It is another element that is early on the periodic table. It evolved relatively early in the process of evolution after the Big Bang, but it's present in a lot of places. Okay, so sulfur's dreaming created our oceans. Her love manifested our lands. Now she offers vivid, luminous light to raise consciousness to new heights of love and beauty. Sulfur is the 6th most abundant element in our oceans. It's also deep in the earth, bubbling up through mineral springs and geysers. Allow your deepest soul to be stirred from the depths of who you are. Sulfur reaches through time and holds your emotional body, nourishing you and connecting you to the deeper meaning in your life. Sulfur knows and loves your heart. All of the sulfur in the universe is part of the being Sulfur's body. She is also incarnated as the nurturing goddess Gaia. She is incarnated on Earth and on other planets. She is the ancient and devoted evolution. Earth was her body. You've chosen this card for Sulfur to help you express your deepest emotions. She's listening. You can talk to her. She's waited for humanity to awaken. It's begun. Sulfur is with you now as a guide, friend, and someone to help you navigate and thrive in this shifting time. The changes that are happening on Earth can seem overwhelming. Sulfur is here to tell you that they are part of the cycles of time and evolution in duality here. She's been here since the beginning of time on Earth. She's seen it all. She has watched humanity develop. We are evolving, and each of us is a critical piece of the puzzle of evolution. Sulfur is here to stir your primordial knowing so you can rest in the knowledge of the ages. All the beginnings have endings in duality, and it is the natural way of things, making way for newness, continually evolving. Nutritional healing properties of sulfur include hormonal health, methylation and detoxing, and metabolism. Dietary sources include cruciferous vegetables, meat, seafood, poultry, dairy, eggs, nuts, and seeds. The affirmation is, and we can all say this, I connect with my deep primordial self. Sulfur stirs me to find heartfelt meaning.
Wow, that's beautiful.
That's our message.
Wow. And especially when it talked about duality, and this timeline is very challenging. We're all
Right.
What's your thought about this timeline that we're on right now?
It's rough.
It's rough, right?
It's rough.
Right.
And like I said, humanity's history has been rough, honestly.
Yes.
To me, it's duality. And I know people like to say Earth is a school. Perhaps. I think it's the field of experience. Mm-hmm. And I think we do, we're all privileged to be looking at a screen and sitting here in freedom and safety to do this. So those of us in that situation, we do have the opportunity to kind of use this, dualistic field and use it and raise our vibration, live consciously and intentionally, and, do whatever we're supposed to be doing here.
That's a great reframe. Absolutely. Especially for those of us that do this type of work. Yeah. There was a time when we probably couldn't do it.
As women, we couldn't.
We're doing it now.
Yeah, we are. And we're, most of us on this probably have shelter and food, and we're blessed. And why not be part of the lessening of suffering for all sentient beings. I mean, that's my personal
I
vision.
love that. And especially, and you do ancestral healing. So you're not just healing this, you're going back in generations to heal.
Yeah. And I've always been an observer of the mechanics of consciousness. Like, even when I was a kid, I was always really interested in that, like what that was, and telepathy, and, like Dean Rainin did, for example, examples on telepathy particles. Like what was, what was really fueling everything. And we still don't know, but I will say in my work, I observe that we incarnate to further evolution. And that's what family lines are doing. Would I prefer we did it without suffering? Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm not personally endorsing the dualistic structure, actually. But since we're here,
it's the way it's set up here,
and we're in it, we've made a tacit agreement to participate by incarnating, in my opinion. Or I feel that about myself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's try to understand it. Let's try to elevate it. And let's, all raise the frequency of humanity in the earth, which I think a big part of that is feeling good all the time, choosing to feel great and working to feel great, and then letting that overflow. So
do you do anything special, like in your daily routine? Do you meditate? Do you eat, eat a certain food? I'm just curious, what is your program for taking care of yourself?
I have a lot of different things. I'm not like a big structure person. I make myself hypnosis that's very extensive that I record. And so I also sell some versions of that actually on my website. They're called Atomic Healing Audios. So it's kind of combining atomic healing and programming our subatomic particles, especially specific ones. Mm-hmm. But I make those for myself custom. So I listen to the one I have right now that I'm running, it's like an hour long. So I listen to that as I go to sleep at least several times a week, or maybe in the morning. Sometimes I put it on in the house. It's just whatever everything is in affirmative statement form. Wow. So I do that. Okay. That's one of the many things. I also am certainly very conscious of what I eat and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm also very committed, I would say, to ideally, if climate allows, putting at minimum my bare feet on the ground most days.
Yeah.
Ideally. I mean, sometimes that doesn't work as well. I also think people always ask, if we don't have access to grass or things, or it's sprayed. I don't think blacktop works great, but if you have concrete cement kind of a thing, like a sidewalk, I actually do feel that is still conductive.
I do too.
Those feet on, So if you have a rubber-soled shoe, that won't work. But if you take off the shoes in dirt, in grass, on the beach, on concrete, whatever you can do.
So that would be something for people that can do that now.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And tell us how that works. If they step out with no shoes.
Yes.
I'm always advocating that.
Yes. So, you may have heard of something called the Schumann resonance, which is the frequency of the earth. It connects that at minimum. It also, you can imagine, this is the shamanic way, roots coming out of the bottom of your feet and your tailbone growing down in the center of the earth. One of the first things my late medicine teacher, Lori, ever taught me was that. I was not grounded.
Okay.
I was intuitive, I was particles everywhere, but not here. So you can do that shamanically. And then from an atomic standpoint, depends what the surface is. And it depends, if we're in the forest, there's so many negative ions. If we're at the beach, there's so many negative ions. So what that means is there are charged particles, they're electrons, that are interacting with the particles that you're breathing in, touching, what your feet are touching. If you're in the water, if a wave is crashing, it's really releasing all these negative ions, which are health promoting, proven to be health promoting. Also, if you're outside, for example, when you touch the earth, it helps your nervous system relax, unwind. That helps with body pain, anxiety, headaches, everything. If you're hearing bird songs, your ancient 1.0 system that's still running knows if the birds were singing, there's no predator nearby. That's what your cave being inside makes.
So it calms you.
It calms you. Yeah. And so does, being outdoor. And we all feel that. Yeah. Whether it's walking the beach, walking the forest, going for a hike, even walking in, in your neighborhood is better than nothing for that too.
But getting out in nature is something that somebody can do now. And then also they can go to your website and you have, sounds like incredible things for people to use.
Lots of things. I have, that's when you join that, you get my energy clearing process for free, which is something you can absolutely do. And then on my website, you've got audios you can purchase that are just $25 and you have them for life. You just download them. Courses, besides the Atomic Healing Method certification, different courses we offer, and all kinds of things you can do, and lots of stuff on the blog. And of course, then there's decks and books too. Got all kinds of fun stuff.
People love this, and it's such good information for people to have.
Thank you.
I mean, it really, I'd love to look at different lenses, and your lens is very exciting, and I know it works.
Yeah, it does. And I feel really fortunate to have had the foundation I have, and to have, I have a team. I can't do this all myself, guys.
Oh, I know.
This is like, gosh, like I have an amazing team that helps me. And also all of our spirit guides, our guides put us all together. So everybody on this live, everyone who's going to listen to the recording.
That is so true.
Our guides put us all together.
Yeah, they do. Guides. Yeah. And certain people will totally be guided to take this class because it's such an interesting class. I do want to promote that because I just think it's going to be an exciting class for people. And I think the time has come for this. People will be stepping into their own healing and their own healing journey. And that journey may open up to help others on their journey.
That's the whole thing. We raise our frequency.
Right.
We help others raise their frequency, whether it's through just being happy and healthy or working with them as a medical intuitive, helping them clear their ancestral density, etc.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Aside from that class, do you do events, other local events or?
Sometimes. So I just did a book signing in New York City. And I do that sometimes. Okay. I also have something called the Atomic Goddess Collective that meets 8 times a year. It's just like a little, live online gathering, which lets people be in community, celebrating the equinoxes, solstices, and the cross quarters, which are the midpoints between seasons.
Wow.
So we work with goddesses from the periodic table, which we did get some today.
Right.
Yeah. So and the ones that go with whatever that season is or that cross quarter is. And then we also talk about the wheel of the year and, the ancient traditions and things like that. So
we have a question for you too. Renee says, does the atomic healing work at all with a somatic sound resonance?
I don't know what somatic, the somatic part is.
I'm saying it somatic.
Tell us what that is.
What is that, Renee?
Yeah. Tell us what that is.
What that is. It's a lot. Yeah, you've got a great lens here. It's a lot to take in, people. But I mean, it's so interesting. I think I was thinking about when you incarnated, you just brought your soul self in. There was no other nonsense around it. It was, here we go.
Well, I did, and I showed up as a super learning disabled child. And I'm very fortunate to have wonderful parents and things like that, and to be born in where I was born at the time I was born and all of that. So I'm very blessed, but it's been a journey, but yeah, I think I did bring a lot of this with me. Then it was like, how would one live in a body on a planet with all this?
Galactic. Yeah.
Everyone's like, story of our lives, right?
Yeah. Will you be back in New York? People are asking when you'll be back.
I may go back in November because I have another deck launching, which is called 52 Cards to Calm.
Wow.
So I might go back because there's a lot of great places. And my event planner, who's also like my bestie, is there. So maybe beginning of November. But it'll be cold. So I've been vacillating.
Sign up for your newsletter. A lot of people signed up for your newsletter.
Yay!
I think that's fantastic. Oh my God.
Yes.
And before we finish, I have to mention a couple of things here that I'm excited about. On October 24th, I think you'll be doing your thing on October 24th, starting your class.
27th, we start
27th, okay.
very soon after.
Very soon. On October 24th, Dr. Shirley Pellizzeri and I are going to be, she's wonderful. Do you know Jen Weigel?
No.
You should work.
I'd love to meet her. I love to meet everybody.
You guys together. You would love Jen. She's a spiritual teacher and she's extraordinary. And
I would love to.
You would love her. She's out of Chicago, or actually now in Wisconsin. But Dr. Shirley and I and Jen are going to be doing an evening of insight, healing, and connection on October 24th in the Chicago area. So I'm going to be doing live readings. And we're going to be having questions and answers and book signings and meet and greet and great conversations. So please join us October 24th at the Wayfarer Theater in Chicago. And also, I just want to mention this too. I'm going to be attending. I'm not going to be doing this event, but I'm going to be going to Sedona to be able to work with Carrie Gonia and Dwayne Morgan. And Carrie Gonia does family constellation. You would love her. She's extraordinary.
I would.
And Dwayne Morgan also does that, but he also does ancestral healing.
Ooh.
And he really, he's got to meet you too. I mean, I can just keep connecting with you, but
I would love that.
You would love this. So I will be with them on, when is this? September 25th and 26th and 27th in Sedona. So I actually am going to that. So if anybody wants to join us, we have some room from what I understand. So anyway, it's going to be a lot of things to look forward to, right? As healers.
It all sounds amazing.
It all sounds amazing.
It really does.
Good stuff here. And so people can reach you at your website, which is amyleemercree.com.
Yep. It's just my name.com. That's my Instagram, which are the main places to find me.
Oh, that's so great. That is so great. And again, everybody, if you would like to sign up for any of Amy's events or her class, it would be extraordinary. I think you guys would learn an awful lot. And Amy, you're a delight and you're so interesting. I'll have to have you back on so we can
I would love that.
Do some more and card readings and everything.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I would love that. I always love talking to you.
I do too.
Yes.
So I look forward to seeing everybody on Tuesday with Dr. Shirley Pellizzeri on Psychology and the Soul. And then I'll see you guys back next Thursday, where I will be talking more about the upcoming eclipse. All right. Take care, my friends. Have a great week.
Have a great week.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.